How's it hanging, YouTube? This is King of Feral Imps, and I'm back with another How to Play series on pretty much my favorite deck, Umbral Horrors. Now, this is, I think I've mentioned it before, pretty much my favorite deck, what I guess I can be most known for. But anyway, so yeah, we're just going to go ahead and talk about this. I'm going to go through like some combos, some things you can do, tips, maybe do a test draw or of a hand or something, and it's just going to be really cool, and, well, that sounds dumb. So anyway, I'm just going to teach you how to master the dark side of the Force with Umbral Horrors. So, of course, the most important card in the deck is Umbral Horror Unform. He's the main monster. His effect is that when he's destroyed by battle after you declare an attack and send to the graveyard, then you special summon 2 Umbral Horrors from your deck. You can only use his effect once per turn, and his stats are 0/0. So it's a pretty big risk. You'll be taking like a bunch of damage. Say especially if your opponent has like a standard monster, say like 25. You're going to have to normal summon this, attack into it, and take a hefty amount of damage. So that's where the clowns come in, some of the more recent cards. So say the main combo is, we're playing 3 Hat Tricker, and Damage Juggler and Hat Tricker, but this is going to be your best combo. Summoning your Unform during your battle phase, discarding Damage Juggler, using his effect, you don't take any damage. Attack with Unform. Unform will get destroyed, and then you'll get to special summon 2 Umbral Horrors from your deck, say like Ghoul, for example. And then during your main phase 2, you can go ahead and activate Damage Juggler's effect to banish him, and add a Hat Tricker to your hand, and you can special summon Hat Tricker. That's a basic. There are different variations and different things you can do with this. So let's just take a quick look at some of these different variations. Now, with Unform, you can do different things with him. Say if you happen to draw Ghoul and Unform, Ghoul's effect is that you can make his attack 0 to special summon 1 Umbral Horror with 0 attack from your hand. So say you end up drawing these 2, you can normal summon your Ghoul, activate Ghoul's effect to special summon Unform, and you've already got 2 monsters there. From then you can go ahead and attack with Unform, or say if you happen to have the Damage Juggler in your hand, you can do that. Discard, attack, effect, special summon 2 Umbral Horrors from the deck. They don't have to be Ghoul, but most of the time they're going to be, or the Will-O-Wisp, whichever you want. And then during your main phase 2, do the same shenanigans with Damage Juggler to search Hat Tricker, and then you have 4 level 4 monsters on the field, and you can Xyz summon however you want, making 2 there, or 1, or however you want to do it. Alternatively, having these 4 monsters in your hand, by the end of your main phase 2, you can have a field full of level 4, or 5 level 4 monsters. So how that looks is, normal summon your Ghoul, chain Kage to your normal summon, activate Ghoul's effect to special Unform, do the discard Damage Juggler, attack with Unform, Unform's effect, summon 2 level 4s, Damage Juggler's effect, banish him, add Hat Tricker, special Hat Tricker, and you're left there with a field full of 5 level 4 monsters, and you can do whatever you want. You can do this. Say, oftentimes what I sometimes do with this is, oh, that's wrong. Use 2 of the dark monsters to summon a Key Beetle, and then use these guys to say summon like Masquerade, because that's pretty decent, or any other 3 material rank 4 monsters. Then Key Beetle can go ahead and protect this, and so on and so on, and that's not considering whatever spells or traps you draw. Now, all of these cards mentioned, I am playing 3 copies of them in the main deck, so it's not always that hard to end up drawing them. You can draw a decent amount of some of these, and either way, you can still do some neat plays with it. I did also want to bring up what exactly you should summon with Unform, because after Unform's effect, summoning Ghoul is good, but I normally don't tend to like summoning 2 Ghoul. I like to at least summon 1 Will-O-Wisp, because this guy sucks to draw into. He's a level 1, but when he's summoned, he copies the level of an Umbral Horror either in your grave or on your field. But you have to play at least 2 copies, in my opinion, just because you need all the Umbral Horrors, you need the targets. So the usual turn would be attack with Unform, gets its effect, summon these 2, and then on the summon Will-o'-the-Wisp, well, you activate his effect to either copy the ghoul on the field or the unform in the grave, and then you at least have 2 level 4s, and then you can exceed from there. And then, of course, depending what else you draw in your hand. Another good play that I sometimes find myself doing is if you have these 3 cards in your hand, which isn't always too hard. Like I said, I find myself doing this often, is similar shenanigans to what you did. Normal summon the ghoul, special the Kage, ghoul's effect to special unform, attack with unform, special 2. Then here you have 4 level 4 darks. And then one thing you can do here is summon the double Key Beetle, activate both Key Beetle's effect to protect each other, and you have a not completely unstoppable, but a pretty hard wall to get around, especially if your opponent can't really make anything. Say if they have something like this with 25 attack, they can clash with it, but they can't destroy it. So that's a pretty decent play. Another thing I want to mention, that if you're able to leave these, or if they stay on the field, then from there it gets pretty crazy. Because say you play, like, I play a lot of continuous traps. I play Fiendish Chain over Breakthrough Skill because it stays on the field. So say you end up setting one Fiendish Chain like this, and these stick around for a turn. Your opponent goes 1 turn, they don't have anything to deal with this. On your turn, you can go ahead and use this Key Beetle's effect to protect that card. So from here, you create a decent little lock. This Key Beetle is protecting this one's protecting this one is protecting this one, and if, say, somehow they find a way to be able to destroy this one or this one, you can alternatively send this card to the graveyard instead. But that's really powerful. One thing that also works and is really great is if you happen to get a Floodgate as well. Do the same thing. Each Key Beetle is protecting each other, and then one protects the vanities. So you're in a decent lock because you have 2 2500 beaters, and neither player can special summon, and you can go ahead and activate whatever traps or spells that you have without losing your vanities, because it can't be destroyed due to this Key Beetle's effect. And then you get in some pretty good lock power because, like I said, you have 2 2500 beaters, your opponent can't special summon, and anything that becomes a problem you can deal with if you draw your good traps. One more Key Beetle combo I want to point out is the Fiendish Chain combo. So with Fiendish Chain, the effect is that it's destroyed once the monster you targeted is removed from the field. But the way this works is once you set to this, and say you detached, you detached the card from Key Beetle to protect Fiendish Chain, then say we can activate it. Then during our opponent's turn, if they want to do something, we activate Fiendish Chain on their monster, and they can't chain. They could chain MST, but it won't negate or destroy it since Key Beetle is already protecting it. And then from there on, say their monster gets removed from the field, say sent back to the hand, Fiendish Chain stays on the field because the effect is that it gets destroyed once the target is removed from the field, but however, since Key Beetle is protecting it, it can't be destroyed. So this sticks around, which is actually pretty nice, because then, say if Key Beetle would get destroyed by something else, you can then use the effect to send Fiendish Chain to the grave instead, and then keep him on the field. So that's a pretty neat little combo that you can do with Fiendish Chain and Key Beetle. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed just this mini video of how to play Umbral Horrors, or just a little combo-ish guide. I think I've mentioned this in previous videos, but this has been updated for November 2015, say with like the clown cards. I didn't mention much of Norden, but he's pretty self-explanatory, just being extra level 4 monster and then summoning stuff from the grave. But this has been it for this video. If you have any ideas, or for this deck, say like any suggestions for other cards that could help, or if you happen to see any combos that I didn't catch, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll go ahead and get back to you, and then maybe even feature them if I decide to update the deck anytime soon, or if I update the combo vid anytime soon. Anyway, if you enjoyed the content, remember to subscribe, also leave a like and a comment to show your support. This has been King of Pharaoh Imps. Have a nice day.